Now, of course, Caroline, you mentioned this HEX deal. This is blatant electioneering. We're 6 months out from an election. They should be governing. They could do this if they want to. They'd have to budget for it and announce it and pass it through Parliament. Instead, they've put it out there already as an election promise. You only get this, and they only do it if they get re-elected. And have a look at this, some more of that speech in Adelaide yesterday. It just reeks of election campaigning.
Building on the strong foundations we have laid, building together, building to last, our Labor government building Australia's future.
Yeah, Albo was Bob the Builder, Caroline. Your role with the Liberals there in Western Australia, you'll be on election alert. You'll be expecting it possibly as early as March. I keep hearing April the 12th is a very likely date.
And just listening to Albo there, it's like he doesn't even believe his own BS. He's like, I know I have to read this, but there's this shallow shrillness to his voice. He's trying to project to make him sound really confident, and he just actually sounds really rattled, which is my takeaway from that. Well, we've got a state election here on the 8th of March. So for us here in WA, chance of having two elections very, very close to each other. And kudos to Stephen Hamilton, actually, for an absolute belter of a piece in the AFR on this precise issue. And he makes the point in his article that what actually this whole announcement is about is trying to transfer votes from the Greens back to Labor.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think he's absolutely right on that.
Yep.
This here is not about the middle. And we know that in Australia that elections are won at the middle, but Labor is more focused on its left flank and trying to bring some of that back from the Greens. So, you know, this year is at a cost of about 11 billion. And yes, some people will be tempted by this, no doubt.
Yeah,
but obviously, if you're not paying for it now, they will be paying for it in future generations. And the middle, plenty of whom have not had the privilege of going to university, will be paying for this instead. So I'm not sure it really hits those fairness notes.
Gemma, a couple of issues that I want to focus and see if you can get to wrap up as we run out of time. One is we've read that Lifeline are getting more calls than ever as the cost of living pressure really exacerbates people's personal turmoil, and they reach out to Lifeline for help. And on top of that, with all these pressures on housing and the rest of it, and we know that immigration's been running out of control, the number of foreign students coming into the country has been out of control. We learned on the weekend that 120,000 people have come into the country as family reunion partners, effectively, of people who are here as foreign students. So you come in as a foreign student, then you bring in your family, and then you all try to stay here forever. This is immigration out of control.
Well, it's a lazy government that's lost track of what's going on and it's taken its eye off the ball. And you can't sort of help wonder how much of this is electorally driven. And I made my point in my weekend column just gone, Chris, about needing people in Parliament who have real life experience, not just political experience. And it goes both ways. But let's talk about the mob who are in charge right now. Less union, being a union member and being an academic or a staffer of any persuasion does not prepare you for life in politics, when life in politics should be about public service. Yep. Greater reform is for the greater good. Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders full stop in this government? This is an appalling indictment on the fact that either they are economically illiterate or they don't care, not sure which is worse, but they are not making decisions in the best interests of this country. And I don't think the electorate is as stupid as they are treating it.
Yeah. We're not seeing policies that are obviously aimed at improving the country. We're seeing policies that are aimed at picking off cohorts of voters. It's so transparent. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it greatly, Caroline and Gemma. We'll catch you next week.